Okay, I'm live. Are you live?
Good.
Okay, hey everybody, welcome back to our Week 4 fantasy recap here. Um, we'll dive right in. Congrats to Shannon for being our Week 4 high score with 169 points. She had quite the match, I would say.
Crushed it.
Yep, she crushed it this week. Let's see, next high score was Scott. He was 143, so there was a solid 26 point margin between the two teams there. Congrats, Shannon. Taking a quick look at the standings here, I am the only undefeated team, amazingly, somehow. I think you pointed out off camera. I have one of the lowest points against. Justin has the only lowest points against.
Yep.
So that's definitely part of why I've won four in a row because I haven't deserved to win. It's like last season. Remember when the Steelers were 11 and 0, and
Yep.
everybody was like, "This is like the worst 11 and 0 team we've ever seen." That's like my team. I have the worst 4 and 0 team you could probably possibly have. So
Gotta
I,
take what you can get.
yeah, I mean, hey, look, I'm not going to complain, but my losses are coming. The pendulum is going to swing the other way eventually. On the opposite end, we only have one winless team remaining after JT got his first win this week against my poor wife, your sister. Chris remains winless at 0-4. He is having a rough time
To less than a
this
point.
season. By less than a point, yeah. Oh man,
Crazy.
yeah. Like if Brady had connected on like just extra pass, even one touchdown, she
Yep.
wins it. So that was a unlucky loss. But you know what? She's still the number 2 point scorer, by like less than a point. Jimmy's sitting in front with the most points at 612.36.
Yeah.
Ashley's right behind him at 611.94. I mean, that's 0.42 points between the two of them.
It's
They're the
crazy.
only two over 600 points right now. Third looks like Shannon at
Shannon.
596. Um, yeah, and
Yep.
that's me a little ways down there. Anyways, yeah, congrats, Shannon. Week 4 score. Let's go ahead and jump into the recaps here. I don't think we have anything else to add there. Let's start with Ashley and JT. We just kind of talked about them briefly. All right, so just going over some of the big boys here.
Should we mention what we're doing from now on?
Yeah, I guess so. So I think we're going to just focus on some of the bigger players, which is kind of actually what I did last year, right? Like when I used to send the text out, I didn't highlight out obviously every player. It was sort of like who did big things in the game, or who had maybe unexpected duds. So DJ Moore. DJ Moore's going crazy this season. Like
Yeah.
I
It's
really wish
ridiculous.
I had. We talked about this last week, I think, but I really wish I had a share of DJ Moore.
Yep.
Um, I had
I
him two
regret
years
it.
ago, and he was really good, even with that crappy rotation of like
Kyle Allen and all
yeah,
that.
Kyle Allen and whoever other people they had, maybe Cam Newton to start that season, I think, before his Liz Frank. Um, he was good then, mediocre last year with Teddy Bridgewater, but this year he's just going nuts. 2 touchdowns, 100 yards. He's probably top 5 wide receiver on the season right now. James Robinson had another great game. Brady had a down game. Brady and Hopkins, just talking about them real quick. Brady against New England, his former team. I only watched the first half of that game. It was really boring. It was just like a
Yep.
defensive slog. It was not a fun game to
Yep.
watch. So, yeah, Brady against his former team. He broke the all-time passing record that Drew Brees set a couple years ago. Um, it's kind of crazy to think if Drew Brees had kept playing, like how many yards he could have racked up. But
Yeah.
Brady's beating it. Now it's up to Mahomes. Who's going to break the record next? I don't see anybody else doing it
Nope.
that's currently playing. Maybe Josh Allen, but let's see. Just real quick, looking at the bench here. Nah, nobody on the bench worth mentioning. Okay, let's talk about JT's team real quick. Stafford was kind of a middling day. He threw 2 touchdowns, but you're happy with 24 points, I guess, right?
Yep.
Nothing too terrible there. Zeke's been killing it lately. Had 143 yards in this game, only 1 touchdown, but you're happy with that production from Zeke after the first 2 weeks. And then Corey Davis kind of had a decent game for him with 24 points there. For the Jets, who upset the Titans. What do you think about that? I found that a little,
Oof.
a little
People are in my
remarkable.
Survivor League. A lot of them
Oh
got knocked
yeah,
out.
yeah. I mean, I would have picked Tennessee like any day,
Yep.
over the Jets. Hell yeah.
Crazy.
Tennessee's struggling. Like they are
They look bad.
struggling.
They look really bad.
Yeah. So, JT, this was his first win, as we talked about, by less than a point. Brady throws a couple more passes. Gets closer to that 300-yard mark. She wins. There's a single touchdown. She wins. Any number of things could have happened, and she would have won this game. But JT managed to get his first win, and 134 points is respectable.
Yep.
It's not going to set the league on fire, but you can definitely win in this league with 134. So, given where JT is at 1-3, do you think he needs to make any changes to his team? I mean, what do you think? Like, obviously, tight end is a weak spot for him, and we said that coming out of the draft, right? Because when he came out of the draft with, I think, Adam Troutman, and Adam Troutman
Yep.
at the time had just gotten hurt or just got hurt after the draft, whatever the case was, and he was basically a big nothing, and the Saints are a big nothing anyways. So, he's streamed any number of tight ends so far this season. He has been unlucky with pretty
Yeah.
much everyone he's picked, I think, because he got a goose egg from OJ Howard here. So, what would be your recommendation here for JT?
Either you get lucky with the waivers, you finally get one right. He has 96 fab. So I think at some point you need a bite and you need to grab the studs as fast as possible. You really can't sit around and wait. You don't have the depth to really not do it. So
Yeah.
I mean 0 points from a tight end, like that's just kind of unacceptable. 0
Yeah.
points in general. So
Yeah, that would be my recommendation. He's got to find a suitable replacement tight end, which is easier said than done. And JT knows all this. JT's a seasoned fantasy player, so we're not telling him anything he doesn't know. But and he said today that tight end's definitely a blind spot for him. The rest of his team isn't bad. Like, what do you think about Allen Robinson so far? Allen Robinson's been a disappointment.
Hose Bears offense is trash. Hopefully with Dalton, I think he should be back next week. I think. I don't know. I mean, he's usually been quarterback proof. This year, he's pretty atrocious. He's had some drops too over this year. So
Yeah.
I don't know. He's just in a bad situation right now. I think
Yeah.
it's just unfortunate.
Yep. He's suffering from more bad quarterback play as he's pretty much done his whole career. Let me just rattle off a couple names here for you real quick. You tell me who you'd rather have rest of the season, okay? Allen Robinson or just looking at some of the people on his roster. Allen Robinson or Robert Woods? Who would you rather start if you had to pick between the two of them rest of the season?
Woods.
How about Allen Robinson or Corey Davis?
I'd probably still say Robinson.
Okay. Allen Robinson or Sterling Shepard?
Yes, Sterling Shepard?
No, I'm just throwing out names.
Oh. Probably Sterling Shepard when he's back.
Okay.
He was on fire when he was playing.
Yeah. But isn't that crazy though? You'd rather play Sterling Shepard the rest of the season than Allen Robinson. Like just putting in perspective where things are right now, right? Like, because I agree. I think I'd rather play Sterling too. Last one, Allen Robinson or Odell rest of the season.
Odell.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Okay, well, congrats JT on your first win. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next game, which I have as Henry and Melissa. Melissa won this game 139 to 115. Yeah, so Henry's kind of struggling, huh, without Christian McCaffrey. Not having
or
that
quarterback.
first, or a quarterback. Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater went down in this game. It was a tough matchup to begin with against Baltimore.
What's funny? Said Jimmy took Hurts from him in the draft. Who scored 35 points. So if he had Hurts, he would have won this game.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yep.
Oh, another almost 30 points. Yeah, that would have done it. He would have won. Oh man, Henry. Man, that sucks. It's like rubbing salt in the wound. It's just rubbing salt in the wound.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen had a down game. Him and Mike Williams kind of really sucked it up.
Yeah.
Move on from this week. It is what it is. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been having a couple good weeks here. 22 points in this game. Nobody else really of note there for Henry. He's got three quarterbacks. He's got to kind of like flip a coin every week between, he
still has a bench spot.
Yeah, he's still got an open bench spot, which he obviously needs to fill.
He needs to fill that, and you need to drop Lawrence. He's not worth keeping.
Yeah, I agree with that. Joe Burrow definitely is. I mean, Joe Burrow's there's such a heavy pass, volume there that he's going to get the touchdowns, he's going to get the yards. So Burrow's the one to keep of those two. Trevor Lawrence, I don't know. He's getting better, but that whole situation's a mess there. That whole Urban Meyer crap that's going on, like. The team is just.
Oh my God! Another video leaked of him.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah.
Getting a little handsy there. All right, so let's what would you do for Henry's team here? We just kind of talked about it. I guess you got to fill that roster spot, drop a quarterback.
Yep.
Probably drop Tyler Conklin. I don't know if you need to carry him as your second tight end. Like I'm for carrying two tight ends if your second tight end is worth carrying. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm not sure Tyler Conklin is. I think he was chasing the touchdown in the volume from week 3 a little bit. Um, I think it's time to take some because what's Henry's record? Okay, he's 2-2, but he's ninth, right? He's ninth because his points scored
Yep.
are only 498. He hasn't broken the 500 mark yet, so definitely need to get some more depth on the bench there. Take some get some lottery tickets. Just
Yep.
start grabbing players who could blow up. Um, as opposed to holding these guys that aren't really going to do anything. Like holding Madison, I mean, he's a good lotto ticket, right? Dalvin Cook goes down, okay, you have the backup. So that's one I would keep. McCaffrey obviously can't do anything with, but okay. Anyways, let's move on to Melissa's team. There's the Tyreek Hill. Holy shit! How about that? What do you have? 4 touchdowns in this game? Oh, 3 touchdowns.
3.
Man, this was the game you've been waiting for from Tyreek because he had a great week 1 where he scored 45 points, and then weeks 2 and 3 you were like meh, he scored single digits, and then boom, 56 points. Like that's what Tyreek
Yep.
that's what Tyreek was always known for before last season. Just these boom bust games. He'll win you a week. When he goes off, he will win you the week for sure, and that's what he did this week. Um, Kyler Murray had another solid game, 2 passing touchdowns. I think I read he's on pace for like 5,400 passing yards right now. Kyler Murray is, or something ridiculous like
Wow.
that. Yeah, he's thrown so many. He's had
Yeah,
so
he
many yards so
has.
far. I mean, he's got
Yeah.
like 1,200 plus right now already in 4 games.
Almost
So,
13.
yep. So him, Tyreek, Melissa's got a great team in my opinion. Najee had a good game here. So let's see. Matt Ryan went off on her bench, but you don't play Matt Ryan over Kyler Murray. So
Never.
wow, man, look at this. The backup running back from
That
Tennessee has
eight,
16
yeah.
points on 1 carry. He must have had a bunch of catches.
8 catches.
8 catches. Holy
74
shit!
yards.
Oh yeah, it tells me right there. You're right. Wow. Holy cow. Okay, that's interesting. I guess that's because they had no Julio and no AJ
AJ
Brown.
Brown.
They were throwing it to freaking backup running backs. Okay,
Yep.
got to do what you got to do, I guess. I don't think I would say. Melissa's team. I would say. Well, you tell me. What are her weaknesses?
Well, I don't know why she played Royce Freeman in with Josh Jacobs. I guess because it was a Monday night game, you didn't know whether he was playing or
Yeah.
not.
Yep. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, I mean, would you have played Royce Freeman or Rojo? We knew Chuba
Uh,
Hubbard was going to be the main running back, so
honestly, I think with what she had, she probably made the right call, right? Because she needed a second running back. This wasn't a flex spot; it was her second running back slot. So her choices were Freeman, Jones, or McNichols, or take the shot and hope that Josh Jacobs plays. Um, and she took the conservative approach. It ended up not mattering because she won.
yeah.
But yeah, I think between basically Royce Freeman, Derrick Henry's backup, and Ronald Jones, I probably would have rolled the dice on Royce Freeman too, right? Because like Ronald Jones was in the doghouse for 2-3 games now, and what's his name? Josh McNichols. I don't even know what his name is. Jeremy
Jeremy.
McNichols. Literally don't even know his backup because he touches the ball
Yeah.
freaking 45 times. Yeah, I would never play Derrick Henry's backup in a million years. So yeah, it's a tough situation for her there. She's struggling at running back for sure, as many people are because it's such a tough position. But anyways, okay, let's move on to the next game. Let's talk about your game with Jimmy. So you ended up squeaking out the win here. We were talking about this. You got the win by 2 points here.
Yeah.
He had Mike Williams, who had previously gone off for 22, 22, and 36 points in the previous 3 weeks, had 2 points, 1 catch for 11 yards. That sucks. Derrick Henry did what Derrick Henry does, had 157 rushing yards, 33 attempts. I think he had a couple targets in this game. So once again, he had 35 plus opportunities, which is just unreal. I read today he's on pace for like 450 carries or something like that. And the NFL record for carries in the season is 406, set by Larry Johnson back in 2006. And so Derrick Henry is set to crush that after 390 some opportunities last year. Like the man
Disgusting.
how he stays healthy is unbelievable. Like compare him to like Christian McCaffrey, right? Like Christian McCaffrey gets a lot of opportunities, but he's kind of become a little bit of a glass house. You can't, he, Christian McCaffrey's first 2 seasons, like phenomenal, didn't get hurt ever. These past 2 seasons, like the wear and tear is showing on Christian McCaffrey. It's obvious that his body can no longer sustain the volume he had. But Derrick Henry's been doing this for like what 3, 4 seasons now.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Um, he's just trucking it. Like you never hear him getting injured either. Like if he comes off, it's because he's like bored probably. You know what I mean? He's like I'm tired of running the ball.
Yeah.
So it's just unbelievable. Lamar had a fine day. We talked about Jalen Hurts had the better day here. Jalen Hurts is having a pretty good season too. Put up a fight
I
against Kansas
love
City.
it.
Yeah,
Yep. It's
Jimmy's
garbage
got
time.
garbage time exactly. But Jimmy's got 2 solid quarterbacks. Would you trade one of these if you're Jimmy? Would you trade one away, see what you can get?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like you always start Lamar no matter what.
Mm,
I don't really see anyone he versus that you wouldn't start. Um, just see what you can get. I mean, you don't have to trade them, but you
sure,
should always try and get value.
exactly. Because you figure unless Lamar gets hurt, you're probably not starting him any week, or you're probably not starting him any week, but the bye week, right? Week 8 for
Yep.
Lamar. So rather than having the situation where you have 2 solid quarterbacks and you can never decide which one's going to be the right call that week, sell one of them. Maybe even sell Lamar. You know what I mean? Like sell
Yeah.
the big name if you want, because you have a really solid second quarterback. And this is a 1 quarterback league. Having 2 is meaningless, especially when you can go pick up like a Taylor Heineke, which is what I did, and we'll talk about that later. And he was fine for the week. You know what I mean? Like there's serviceable backups out there. So if you already have 2 quality starters, try to sell one. Get something in return. Like what is his positions of need here? What would you try to shoot for if you're Jimmy?
I mean, Melvin Gordon's not great. I mean, we have him, but he's still not great. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, his flexes aren't really great. I mean, I guess he would plug it to Julio, but he's always banged up, and he wasn't even doing good either. Besides the Seattle game, so he really doesn't have great flexes either. So either a running back or a receiver, to be honest, someone who can give you points.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Yep. I like his receivers. I like Jefferson and Mike Williams, Odell, Julio when Julio's healthy again. So he's got some depth there. Running back's definitely a weak spot. Like I would consider, take Melvin Gordon and take Lamar or Jalen Hurts, package them together and go try to get like a Chris Carson or David Montgomery. Not a good example because David Montgomery is obviously out for a few weeks,
Say.
but kind of that tier of player,
He's
that
at like
tier of
4 to
running back.
5.
Yeah, he's going to be out for a while, so that wasn't a good example. But I'm just thinking in that caliber of running back, kind of the RB2 range, like, try to maybe do like a package deal and go get somebody better, a better piece than again Gordon. He's starting the Titans wide receiver just because Julio was out, and what is this dude's name? Nick Westbrook Akeem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, or even do like a, I don't know, Melvin Gordon and Justin Jefferson and get yourself a Dalvin Cook or something. You know what I mean? Like package deal, 2 decent players for a better one. That's the kind of play I would do if I was Jimmy. All right, let's talk about your team here. What do you think here? Miles Gaskin had a good day for you, huh?
Yeah, I mean MVP right here. Give him a trophy. Well, as you can see at the bottom of the flex, Patterson with 3 touchdowns
Yeah.
was
Holy
absurd.
shit.
I watched that game, loved it. First of all, did not expect him to score 3 touchdowns. That's for freaking sure. I thought maybe 1, 2 at most. No, this dude scored 3 and had 82 yards receiving. Absolute crazy.
Yeah.
McLaurin, I also watched. Obviously, they played each other. Loved it. Heineke loves him. His second touchdown was a little ridiculous. Really lucky, but obviously Heineke looks at him, love it.
Yeah.
And then Herbert did his thing, 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
Solid
game
Can't
there.
really complain. And then Jared Cook on my bench and Mooney, very unexpected. Even with Justin Fields playing, so I didn't think Mooney would have put 21 points up with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, that's surprising.
He did.
He's getting more targets than Allen Robinson on the team there. So, he's somebody I liked coming into the season. He's a sophomore wide receiver. Sophomore wide receivers are usually much better than in their rookie season. So I've got him in, I think, the Rafts League, and, he blew up on my bench too. I didn't start him either. But he's a good bench depth piece for sure. Yeah, Cordero Patterson, how about this? And the cool thing is he still has the wide receiver designation, the hybrid. So, like,
I think he's a real receiver, but who also plays running back.
yeah,
so
well,
I think that's why.
Yeah, that must be it. But he's had that designation forever because I think he started with the Bears, right? Like I know he was with the Bears for a couple years, but I think he actually started there, and
I
then
believe
obviously
so.
he got traded to Atlanta. But like he's basically a built-in flex because if you wanted to, you could put him up in a wide receiver slot. You
Yep.
know, like you
I
have
like.
that
Yeah.
flexibility. Like if it ever came to it, which is, I mean, the fact that generally when you see players with those dual designations, they're generally players you would never even start in the first place, so you don't care about that. But I mean, Cordero's tearing it up. Like screw Mike Davis, freaking Cordero's the guy. And that's you know what, I was not high on Mike Davis coming into the season, and this is why they get this guy out of nowhere from the Bears, and all of a sudden he's the go-to. Screw Mike Davis,
Yeah.
it's the Cordero Patterson show. So, um, Dalvin Cook had a bad day for you. Just talking about some of your stars here. Look, Marvin Jones, Miles Gaskin, and Dalvin Cook combined for like 12 points for you. Like, what the hell is that? Um, I think
Tell
Dalvin was a
me.
little bit of a decoy in this game, coming back from an injury. Cooper Cup with an also down game after just tearing it up the first
It was
three.
bound to happen. I
Yeah,
mean,
every wide receiver is going to have like
yeah.
there isn't a single wide receiver. Even Devontae Adams, I think, had a pretty
Like
mediocre
12
game.
points.
Yeah, like every receiver has down games. It's just an inconsistent position because they can get 20 targets, but if they're all, and that's actually Cooper Cup had like 13, didn't he? Yeah, 13 targets, but he
Yep.
only caught 5. Like that's kind of an anomaly. That was actually his most. He had 10, 11, 12, and 13 targets starting from week one, like just in order,
He's
one more
vibing.
each week. But this was his lowest reception count, and obviously first game without a touchdown. So bound to happen, like you said. Your team is great. It's definitely, once you get AJ Brown back too, man. If he comes
Hope
back to
so.
form, like that's going to be great. All right, let's talk about the next game here, which I have is Scott and
Scott and
Chris.
Chris.
Only
Yep.
makes boys. This was, man, Scott almost doubled his points for the week. Quite the blowout here. Let's start with Scott's team. Josh Allen, solid game. Just looking here for David Montgomery had a solid game before he got hurt. That's great.
Yep.
Like if your player's going to get hurt, which you never want, it's nice when they score a lot of points for you before they get hurt. You know what I mean?
Of course. Yeah.
As opposed to like going out their first drive and just like tearing their groin or whatever. He scored 2 touchdowns before he decided he wanted to
Yeah.
damage his knee or whatever. Um, Nobody else really of note there. DK had an okay game, caught a touchdown, kind of saved him.
Marquise had 20 points.
Yeah, Marquise had a great game, man. I wonder how many of those points came from that single touchdown catch. It was like
Well,
a
it's
60-yard.
60.
Yeah, because I
Thought it
remember they
was less.
said they were talking about that was the second longest pass of the season by any quarterback. It had 60 air yards. I'm pretty sure that's
So
what they said.
okay, so 60 plus the touchdowns, 12 catches, 13.
Yeah, 13 points from that one catch right there. So
I'll
you
take
know,
it any day.
yeah, because he only had 4 catches for 90 yards. So he was one for 60 and one on that one catch, and then 3 for 30 on the rest of his catches. Yeah, Marquise finally after a down week last week came back. So good stuff there. Fant had a good game. All of his guys were pretty solid. Chris, let's talk about his team. I think we need to spend a little time on his team here because he is struggling. We talked about it a little bit before the recording started, but Mahomes 5 touchdowns, 3 of those went to Tyreek. Don't need to say much more about that. Mahomes is just a baller. All right, let's talk about the train wreck that is the rest of Chris's team. Unfortunately, he only had one other player besides Mahomes that put up double digits, and that was Joe Mixon, who got hurt in this game or re-aggravated injury sustained in a previous week or whatever the case may be. I know he's got like a low ankle sprain or something like that. He's going to be week to week, which anybody who drafted Joe Mixon last year is having flashbacks to when he was week to week for like 15 weeks straight and just never played again. So, that's unfortunate. But what do you do with the rest of his team?
I don't quit.
Let me ask this: how do you fix this situation? If you're Chris, what are you doing right now? Because look, you've got Chark just went on IR. Mixon's now week to week.
Chark's done for the year.
Yeah, Chark's droppable.
Fuller just broke his finger.
Yep, which is probably finger injuries
Probably
generally like a
or
week.
two.
Exactly, not a big deal. They can a lot of times they'll play through that. Not too concerned there, but even still, Will Fuller really hasn't had. He's playing with now
he's
Jacoby
pretty bad.
Brissett on a team that really hasn't been that good, no matter which quarterback's been playing.
Yeah.
And there's other people around him. Like it's just not a good situation for Will Fuller in the first place. So, like cleaning up his team, you drop Chark. What do you do with Ayuk?
I say you still keep him because Kittle's not fully healthy, so that's targets there. If
Mm,
Trey Lance is coming in, I mean Debo ate with Trey Lance, so
yeah,
hopefully you can get some love as well. They're gonna run, they're gonna give Trey Lance his own like little scheme or plan or whatever.
yeah.
So hopefully IU gets involved with there. Other than that, I don't know. I don't think you really can get much value for him
No,
because
definitely not. It's just a matter of do you
so
drop him. That was sort of the question: is
nah.
drop or stash? I think you're right. I think especially given how banged up his team is, he's definitely a stash. All right, so you drop Chark. You mentioned this before the show, possibly trying to trade Mahomes.
You trade
Um,
Mahomes and you try to get two players that will give you consistent
yeah,
points.
and maybe what you do again. I'm a fan of sort of the package deals because straight up, I don't know if anybody's going to give you like a good running back or good receiver for Mahomes alone, right? Because there's so many good or decent starting quarterbacks, right? Because we only start one quarterback. There's 32 starting quarterbacks in the league, so you can have your pick of any number that will put up. Like again, I picked up Taylor Heineke, who's a nobody, and I started him, and he got me like 30 plus points. I don't even know what it was. Like he
Yeah,
almost matched Mahomes' points. So like, how much is somebody willing to pay for Mahomes alone? Maybe you take Mahomes and you package him with Chris Carson, or you know, he almost doesn't have anybody else really worth packaging for. That's the problem, though.
yep,
Um, but you definitely you cut Chark, you keep Ayuk, and hope. Ayuk was crazy good last season, but that was when Kittle and Debo were out. So unfortunately, maybe you're kind of banking on an injury to one of those guys. Chris Carson had a really bad day. I think he had some sort of knee injury or something, or neck injury, kind of sidelined him a little bit. Just the rest of his team, Tim Patrick, obviously the Broncos had a down game all around. Nobody on his bench is really. I mean, he's got Jamal Williams, who's okay. Um, yeah, it's. I think he probably can drop Ingram, maybe Rashad or Rondale Moore, Hardman probably, Marlon Mack probably. Like Marlon Mack had 10 carries in this game. I have a feeling that was just to be like, oh look, Marlon Mack can still run the ball. Somebody please trade for him. You know what I mean? Like,
2.2 yards per carry.
yeah, like that wasn't a good demonstration, but it was a demonstration enough that Marlon Mack is healthy and can play football. Which, like, if you're the 49ers or a team like the Ravens, I don't think the Ravens are going to pick anybody else up at this point because they've already
Definitely not.
filled the rosters with old running backs. Um, but like, if you're a team in need, again, like the 49ers, seeing that Marlon Mack is out there and healthy, okay, you might want to pick him up. Again, he's not going to light the world on fire, but obviously they just came out and said they want to trade. They both the Colts want to trade, Mack wants to trade, everybody wants to trade. So now they're just trying to sell him, I'm sure. So Marlon Mack probably not going to be of any use. Dawson Knox was a good pickup there, as you had called.
Should have started him over Tunyon any day. I hate Tunyon.
Yeah, Tanyan's been pretty disappointing. So can slot him in. Chris definitely needs to hit the waiver wire, see what he can get.
Yep.
I think there's a couple names out there that are probably worth picking up. Especially again, you're gonna be drop DJ Chark and free that up. Um, how
I
about
mean,
this? Oh, good.
I'll say you're just 0-4. This is the time where you start to panic
Yeah. Yep.
because especially where your team is now, you need to get anyone you can.
I agree with that. Yeah, it's still early, but with the team in the shape it's in now, it's like some moves need to be made. It's not one of these situations where he's just gotten unlucky and like his good players haven't had good weeks. He's just got a lot of dud players,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Um, real quick here, same game. Who would you rather have rest of the season? Chris Carson or Cordero Patterson?
Chris Carson.
Okay. How about Gaskin?
Between him and Carson?
Oh yeah, Chris Carson and Gaskin.
Carson. I hate Gaskin.
Chris Carson and Miles Sanders.
Carson.
Okay. I think I agree on all counts there. He's been solid so far. He's been a
You
solid
saw
RB
you
two.
saw that Miles Sanders' backup had 21 points this game.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I
So
should have asked Chris Carson or Kenneth
Gainwell.
Gainwell. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Congrats, Papa Carl's there. Solid win. Best of luck to you in future weeks, Chris. Hope you can turn it around here. All right, let's move on to Kate and Shannon. Shannon, our week one high score here. 169 to 126 here. Let's talk about Kate's team real quick. Saquon Barkley. I just want to really talk about him and Galladay. I think everybody else is probably not worth talking about here. Um, Saquon, what do you think? Is he back?
Honestly, I would say he's like 90%. I
Okay.
like that running route he did. He literally got over. I think it was Lattimore too, which was crazy.
Oh wow.
Ran right past him, obviously, and scored that, and then he scored the game-winning touchdown or the one to secure the win, which is like near the goal line. So
Mm.
you know what, 30 points. This is what we've been waiting for, right?
Yeah.
Is you give him a couple weeks to again get fully healthy,
Hmm.
increase the workload, and boom, he'll do this.
Yeah.
So
And that's exactly what happened here. He played almost 90% of snaps, I think. I don't know how many targets he had, but
it's so dumb. It
he.
only shows
I
the
know
running.
it's so annoying. Uh, 13 carries, but I assume for 74 receiving yards, he had at least a few targets. So you're fairly happy with that workload. This is what you drafted Saquon Barkley to be. Is this kind of player every week? You just hope he can stay healthy, and you'll be happy. Let's do it again. Who would you rather have rest of the season, Saquon Barkley or Jonathan Taylor?
Mm, probably Barkley. Just the upside's crazy.
Yep, I agree with that. How about him or Kamara?
I don't know. They you saw like Kamara had like his highest career whatever, and then had
Carries.
0 targets or
Yeah,
something like that.
for the first time in his career, I
It's
think.
ridiculous. I don't understand. Probably Kamara. I
Okay.
don't know. That's close.
Yeah, I agree.
Just because Saquon's
Um,
getting healthy.
yeah, I would probably lean Kamara there too.
Because
That's a
Giants,
tough
their
one.
line's
Exactly.
terrible.
Like you kind of play with the Saints are not doing too hot with Jameis, but I think they're still the more talented team.
The Saints defense
And
is way better
Kamara's
too.
kind of the only guy, especially with Tony Jones Jr. just getting hurt.
Yep.
Um, okay, how about Saquon rest of the season or Dalvin Cook? It's probably an easy one.
Mm, Probably Saquon. Dalvin Cook just can't stay healthy.
Oh, okay, really? You went? I would have said Dalvin there.
Well, I don't know. Cook, he scares me.
Yeah, he does.
Just can't stay healthy with
Hmm.
love of his life.
Yeah, owning Dalvin Cook is incredibly frightening because like he just goes nuts sometimes and just blows up. But
50
then it's
point
like,
games.
yeah, and then he just like dies. He just
Yep.
literally will die on the field. And it's like every time if you watch a game with Dalvin Cook, that's even more terrifying because every single play it looks like he gets hurt. And then he gets up and he walks
Just so
around a little bit, and
physical.
then yeah, he's a super physical guy. So, yeah, I'd
Oh,
probably
by the
have
way,
Dalvin there.
Saquon had 5 catches for 74 yards
Nice. Okay.
on 6 targets.
All right. So, that's 18 opportunities. That's pretty good. Um, Kenny Galladay, 20 points here. This was the week for Kenny to blow up because there was no
Yep.
Sterling Shepard, there was no Darius Slayton. So if Kenny Galladay was ever going to have a good game, it was going to be this one, and he did. 7 targets, 6 catches, 116 yards. Very happy with that. I think Kenny Galladay is going to be fine going forward. He's probably going to be a solid wide receiver too. He's probably going to get you like 15ish points most week, like 10 to 15. And he'll
Yeah.
have the occasional blow up week and he'll have the occasional game below that, but
Still no touchdowns.
yeah, still no touchdowns. There's just not a lot of those to go around in New York.
Nope.
Saquon took 2 of them, so and nobody else on our team I really want to talk about other than I just want to point out that once again Devin Singletary only had single digits, although just barely. Like that's just Devin Singletary, right? Like single digit dude. I'm still just blown away that he had double digit weeks in weeks 1 and 2.
Yep.
All right, let's see. Would you do anything to Kate's team? Would you make any changes? Like what's the temperature read on Kate's team right now? Oh, also real quick, Travis Kelce with his first like less than 20
Dud.
point game. We were just talking about last week, and he had the longest streak of games with 20 plus points in fantasy, and then boom, 6 points. So we apparently jinxed his record. But anyways, back to the question: what would you do to her team if anything?
It's kind of hard, right? Because I don't know if you really can.
Yeah, based on what she has, I'm not sure I would make any changes. But I guess the question is like, is there anybody you're picking up, dropping, things like that? Like she's
I
holding
don't.
Tyrell Williams right now. Do you hold him or you get grab somebody? I think I'd rather have just about
I
anybody
would.
else off waivers.
I would drop him. I don't even think he's that good.
No, he's not. He's definitely not. Um, her starting lineup's pretty good.
I,
Juju was poopy.
I don't love Waddle.
No, I don't
Brissett
either.
doesn't look that good.
Yeah, Waddle's been okay though. He's had some solid games, but this was his worst one of the season so far.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Shannon's team here since she lit it up. Highest score. Dak, 4 touchdowns, less than 200 yards. Still didn't pass a lot in this game. It's like 2 weeks in a row he has not passed a ton, which
Because
is
Zeke
yeah, it's because Zeke's been
ran with
amazing. And when Zeke's amazing and they can run the ball, they don't need Dak. So he was great. Austin Eckler, or as he is sometimes known in the
beautiful.
fantasy community as Awesome Excellent. Yeah, I watched part of the game last night because I was banking on him in the Rafts League. I was down like 9.5 points going into that game last night, and in like the lowest scoring matchup in that league, and I was down 9.5 points. Had Eckler to play, and he got me
Did
my
just
nine and a
fine.
half. That's for sure. Yeah, he's amazing. I love Austin Eckler. Debo Samuel, another great game here. Man, Debo is
Whew.
like on fire. He's
Yeah.
had two 40 point games, just tons of targets. He's just he's so good. Really, not much more to say than that. But Debo is phenomenal value, and if he stays healthy, he should keep tearing it up for. See if she anybody on her bench here worth talking about. I wouldn't make any changes to Shannon's team. You know, let's do a little quickie here with Mark
Well,
Andrews. Oh, go ahead.
okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, would you play Crowd? I would probably play Crowder over Fournette next week, right? They
Uh,
versus the Falcons,
let's
the
see.
Jets.
Well, Tampa Bay plays Miami.
No, the oh. Well, Miami's
Um,
defense is not bad.
True, but same
The,
can be said about New England's.
no,
Yeah, no,
the,
I'd probably go with the upside of
the
Crowder.
Jets versus the Falcons.
Yeah, I would go Crowder. I agree with that. Yeah, definitely. Um, Fournette getting 17 points from him was probably about the most you're ever going to get from Fournette. So definitely okay there. Yeah, okay. Anyways, Mark Andrews rest of the season or Hawkinson?
Hawkinson,
Okay, Mark Andrews or Kittle?
Kittle,
Mark Andrews or Noah Fant?
probably Andrews.
Okay,
I think Lamar can probably get it to him more in the end zone than Bridgewater could.
I agree with that. Okay, let's move on to I guess his last game is me and
Yours.
Justin here. Yeah, so kind of talked about it earlier. Like I have like the worst 4-0 team I could probably possibly have here. Got bailed out by Taylor Heineke really with 34 points. Um, Picked him
We
up, played him
called
over
it.
Tannehill. Yeah,
We texted about it. It was like Heineke
yes,
was. Though Darnold did really good too, so either
yeah,
one would have been bad.
right. Yeah, Darnold's been crushing it so far this year. Um, I've been really disappointed in Lockett and Lamb. Lockett, I'm not. He does this right. He
Yeah,
he disappears for a couple weeks and he comes back and blows up. So that's the Lockett game. CD Lamb, I'm not worried about as a player. He had 5 targets in this game still. I'm just worried with the Dallas offense, with them being able to run it more with Zeke, and their defense looking pretty good. It's a little worrisome because I think there's going to be a lot of these weeks where there's just
this
you
is
know
still with Gallup out too.
yes, with Gallup
So
out, but they're throwing it to both tight ends. They're throwing it to Lamb. They're throwing it to Amari Cooper. They're throwing it to Pollard. Throwing it to Zeke. Like there's a lot of people they can throw the ball to still.
yeah,
Um, I'm not overly concerned. It's just I don't need Dak to throw the ball 58 times like he did week one, but I need more than like 22. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of where he
yeah,
was this week. So I need like 30 to 40, and then I think CD will return to being valuable. Jonathan Taylor finally had a good game for me. Uh, and everybody else, Deontay Johnson was always a volume play, always good there. I need to clean out my bench. That's for sure. I've got some people in there. I picked up Tyson Williams for 15 fab. He was a healthy scratch. I'm like, oh
oh my
shit.
God, 15 fab.
Yeah, because I was like, I thought
Wow.
he potentially could return to being the starter. Like I figured they would see last week that like Devonta Freeman and Latavius Murray aren't getting it done, and Tyson Williams is still the most efficient running back on the team. So I'm like, okay, they're gonna see that. They're gonna make him the starter again. And then they go and they make him a healthy scratch and activate Le'Veon Bell, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, who did nothing.
okay, yep. So I'm gonna avoid all Baltimore running backs, I think,
Oh
and I
yeah,
may drop him. Tony Michelle was a handcuff for Daryl Henderson. Even when Daryl Henderson was out that game, he didn't do much. So I think I'm gonna move on from both those dudes. Henry Ruggs is probably a whatever. I'll maybe stash him. Um, but let's talk about
question
actually real
two.
quick. Let's see. Okay, let's do it for my team real quick. Who'd you rather have rest of season? DeAndre Swift or Antonio Gibson?
Mm, probably Swift.
Okay, how about Swift or Jonathan Taylor?
These are hard when I'm on the spot.
uh,
Probably.
it's supposed to be like gut reaction. Like, what's your first? Who do you want?
I'd probably take Swift because of PPR.
Okay. Um, and then how about Swift or Mixon rest of the season, assuming Mixon was
Oh,
healthy?
easily Swift, no
Okay.
doubt. I hate Mixon.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's talk about Justin's team here. Aaron Rodgers, solid game from him. Diggs, I think this might have been his best game of the season so far. 21 points, a bunch of catches, bunch of yards. Good for him. Bunch of middling performances, kind of from everybody else there, so nobody else really worth talking about. Um, uh, James Conner, 2 touchdowns on the bench, but I think you're just chasing touchdowns if you play him.
Yeah.
So not too interested in that. So anything you would do to Justin's team here? He's got a couple guys that are like, you know, he had to start Cameron Brate because Gronk was hurt. Gronk apparently has a couple of fractured ribs, punctured lung. So
Yep. He'll be
um,
out. Probably IR.
yeah, I think Justin seems fine. I think once
Yeah.
Gronk heals, he's still got a good
I
lineup.
would have played Gazeki over Brate, to be honest.
Yeah, I would have
New England's
too.
New England is literally known for shutting down tight ends.
I think he
I
was
don't know if you knew that.
chasing the. I did not know
It's
that.
Yeah, New England's literally known for shutting down tight ends.
That is good to know. But also, I think he was chasing. He was kind of hoping for
The
Gronk level
touchdowns.
production from Brate. Like saying,
Yep.
okay, Gronk's out, Brate's in, Brate will be Gronk, and it didn't work out that way. Um, you still got Michael Thomas down there on the IR. Let's see what happens. Hopefully, it's going to be worth the whole. Justin's sitting at what 2-2 right now. Oh, he's 1-3.
1-3.
So that's what sucks about drafting a guy like Michael Thomas is, and even then, you don't know when he comes back. One, is he going to be back to Michael Thomas of old? Two, is Jameis going to be able to support him because Jameis has not been very good. Um, so we'll see if the Michael Thomas hold pays off or not. But all right, let's go on to the previews. Blow through those real quick. As soon as I figure out how. Okay, week 5. Let's start with Ashley and Shannon. Oh man, look at Ashley's projected points. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, Shannon was our high scorer here this past week. Um, what do you think here? Who's taking the win?
Uh, I mean, Adams against Cincy's a juicy matchup, and then Debo
Yeah.
against Arizona is also insane. I don't know. I don't like Mike Davis, Eckler. I mean, Christian Kirk's Fournette's
Yeah. I give it to Ashley here for sure. Follow the projections a
Yeah,
little bit.
probably.
I think some of her players are going to bounce back a little bit. She gets going to matchups here. James Robinson against Tennessee, DJ Moore against Philly, Brady against Miami. Rest of the season, would you rather have DJ Moore or Cooper Cup?
DJ Moore.
Oh, really? Over Cooper Cup?
I mean, DJ Floor has an insane floor right now.
Did you call him DJ
I think of
Floor?
at least 20 points. Oh my god. Did I say that?
Yeah, that's funny. Hey, you're absolutely
Hey, you
right,
know
though.
what? That's a good nickname,
It
DJ
is
Floor.
DJ Floor. He's got a phenomenal floor.
I'm coining that one. That's me.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Solid floor. Quarterback play has been good. They're in kind of comparable situations, right? They're on the same team they were on last year. They have a new improved quarterback.
For both of them.
For both of them, right? And they're kind of lighting things up. So, okay, how about DJ Moore rest of the season or DeAndre Hopkins?
I feel like the upside of Hopkins is more. So it depends on what you want. I'd probably say Hopkins.
Okay. I go DJ Moore personally. DJ Moore or no, Stephon Diggs.
Again, I feel like it's Diggs will do better, but I mean schedule wise, I like DJ Moore's more.
I just feel like DJ Moore is the primary target, right? Like whether
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey's there or not, DJ Moore is kind of he's going to get fed a ton of targets because he is the guy. Curtis Samuel's gone. I know they got Terrace Marshall. Robbie Anderson's gotten a bunch of targets, but he's more or less an afterthought. Um, whereas, like, who did I just say? What was the player?
Bob Anderson,
Were
McCaffrey,
we talking about DeAndre? No, Stephon Diggs. So, like,
Diggs.
with Stephon Diggs, you got Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley, and you got the running backs, which they throw to once in a while. You got Dawson Knox. Like, it just seems like they spread the ball around a little bit more in Buffalo than they do in Carolina.
Yeah.
So, I might just be speaking out of turn here, but DJ Moore's had solid targets. Um, all right, yeah, I'm gonna give this one to Ashley. All right, let's go to the next game here, which I'm gonna go back and switch over and do all kinds of crap. Justin and JT, 1-3 versus 1-3 here. All right, just doing a quick look here. Yeah, I like, we talked about this. JT's got some holes primarily at tight end. He's also struggling with Robert Woods and Allen Robinson. They haven't been too great. So, I would look to Justin to pull out a win this week against him. JT is just barely not 0-4. Just because Tom Brady kind of had
Yep.
like a terrible, terrible game. It's the only reason JT's got that win. So, Justin's team I think is better than his record indicates. So I would give this one to Justin here. See if we can do any more rest of season questions. Aaron Jones or Saquon rest of season?
Mm. Saquon.
Yeah, I like the volume there. Aaron Jones or Eckler rest of season?
Oh, Eckler.
Yeah, okay. I'm with you there. All right, Justin, you giving this one to Justin?
Yep.
Okay. All right, let's talk about the next game here.
Yo, come on, cat.
That's Roy. He wants to be on the video. All right, let's talk about Henry and Scott quickly. Oh man, yeah, we kind of talked about Henry's team a little bit. Don't need to dwell on this too much. His team is struggling right now. So even with Scott having to play Elijah Mitchell, I think he's got some people on his bench. Slotting in Elijah Mitchell over Montgomery sucks, but if he's healthy, he'll be the guy. So not too bad of a play there. Definitely give this one to Scott. Henry, you need to fill that roster spot, my friend. All right, let's talk about wrong game. Who are we on to next? Jimmy
Is it
and
me and
Kate.
Chris? Jimmy, okay.
Yeah. All right.
This is a nice one.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Derrick Henry against Jacksonville. Division game nonetheless.
I think he always eats against Jacksonville, right? Doesn't he
Yeah.
always do like 200 yards versus them?
Yep. Them and the Texans, I think he always just destroys. 25 points is 100% low. Derrick Henry's going to smash that projection. I would look for Mike Williams to bounce back. On Kate's side, I look for Travis Kelce to bounce back. Rest of her people just don't really excite me. They don't have particularly great matchups. Definitely follow projections of this one. I would give this one to Jimmy.
Jimmy's upside's crazy.
It really is. It's unbelievable with freaking. I mean, Derrick Henry alone, Justin Jefferson, Mike Williams, Lamar. Like those four alone.
Waller.
I mean, they could just Waller too. Those five players. I mean, any one of them could get you like 30 to 40 points.
Yep.
If they all hit on the same week, then you've just won with those 4 or 5 guys. So
Yep.
give that one to Jimmy. I think he continues as the points leader.
He told me he told me yesterday that he's going to do the opposite quarterback that we recommend.
Hey, that one week we recommended playing Lamar over Jalen Hurts, and it was the truth. So, I mean, I think our recommendation at this point is pretty much always Lamar, right? Like you kind of have to chase the talent a little bit. Like Lamar and Jalen Hurts are kind of similar players, right? But Lamar is just better, so kind of go with that. All right, let's talk about you and Chris here. I don't even really need to look at it. I don't think to pick.
Are you just going to skip this one?
Yeah, we're just going to give you the win. Sorry, Chris. Nothing personal here, but your team is in rough shape currently. So I'm going to give that one to Chad. And then real quick, we'll talk about me and I'm playing Melissa here. I have not looked at this matchup yet. She's got a pretty good team. Josh Jacobs against Chicago, I don't like.
Tyreek Hill against Buffalo is pretty rough.
Yeah, it's good defense, so I don't expect him to go off like he did against Philly. Kyler Murray against San Fran's divisional game. He could hit his projection there. Um, yeah, some of my guys don't have good matchups either. Gibson against New
I don't
Orleans, I don't like that.
I don't think Jair on Green Bay's playing. That's like their best corner. Like
Okay,
he's really good. So Jamar, he could eat,
yeah, he could be good.
but T Higgins might
Um,
be coming back.
well, Jamar was still good even with T Higgins in those
Do you see
games. So
Jamar's floor? It's like 18 points or something. It's
yeah,
crazy.
it's got 13 points has been his
Well,
minimum
his
so far.
average,
Yeah, his average is definitely around 18. So yeah,
which
he's been
is
good.
yeah.
A lot of my guys don't have good matchups. Deontay Johnson against Denver, Gibson against New Orleans, Taylor against Baltimore, um, Lockett against the Rams. Heineke, I'll probably sub Heineke out. We'll see. Um, I'm gonna give this one to Melissa. I just think her matchups are better. I don't like my matchups this week. I think this is the week I finally take a loss here. Um, I'll make some moves. We'll see what happens, but don't have high hopes. I'll put it
Eh,
that way.
I think it's closer. I don't like Josh Jacobs that much, and Kyle Pitts has really been a bust. So
They're going against the Jets though, so if there's ever a week for him to finally have a good game, it
yeah, it
would
would be
probably
the
be against
Jets.
the Jets. And Josh Jacobs, yeah, I don't like that matchup against Chicago, especially if he's kind of banged up still a little bit. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We
All
shall
right.
see.
Real quick, you ask me questions. I'll ask you. Who do you think is going to score the most this week?
I'm gonna go with Jimmy. I just think every week he's probably going to be my answer because of Derrick Henry alone.
Who's the
What do you
biggest
think?
underdog? Oh, me. Really quick. Week 5. I'm gonna say Ashley again.
Okay, I can see that. It's. I feel like every week it's going to be one of those two, right? Just because of who
Yeah.
they have on their team. Um, man, Derrick Henry. It's just so hard to undervalue him. All right, so your question was underdog. Underdog meaning because I would say Chris is the biggest underdog, right? Like
Yeah.
if he
What?
won, that would be the biggest upset of the season.
So like, mm,
Like based on projected points, who's like of
I
the
guess
lower
yeah.
projected,
I would say like
who's
if two people are close, but like we like kind of favorited one like much more, but like the other team still had a chance. Like who would you say?
I would
All right,
say
if they had a
Shannon.
chance, okay.
Like we gave it, I think, to Ashley in that game. And I would say Shannon's probably the biggest underdog. She just had the highest score. She's projected to get outscored by 12 points this week. So, I think it's probably her. Um,
Who do you think's gonna have the closest match points wise? Like who's gonna have the closest gap? My guess is it's between either those two again
Me and
or
Melissa, maybe.
yeah,
I could see our game being pretty close again. But yeah, otherwise, my choice would have probably been Ashley and Shannon again. Because like you and Chris, again, no offense to Chris, as you said before, we're not trying to rag on him, but there's no way that game's close. Um, I don't see James and Kate's game being super close. You never know with any of these, but I just see James kind
yeah.
of blowing that out of the water. I think with Henry's beat up team, I think Scott takes it by a good margin. Justin and JT could be close, but I think Justin kind of is gonna outscore him by a good bit probably. So closest I think would probably definitely be me and Melissa or Ashley and Shannon. Um,
Yeah.
all right, so let's see here. I asked you some questions about players along the way, but who do you think, based on like temperature check on teams right now, who is the best team in the league? It's between two for me.
Is it Jimmy and Ashley?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we've kind of
Yeah.
talked about that for weeks now, but they're the points for is the indicator here, right? I mean, if your team's scoring the most points, you have the best team. That's all it is. That's all fantasy is, right? Is
Yeah.
scoring points. So, do you think it
Okay.
remains that way rest of the season?
No,
No, you don't.
I think Jimmy team kind of falls down. I think Mike Williams comes down to earth. Might give you like a floor. I don't know how many more blowout games he'll have. I mean, you just saw Jared Cook. When he's involved, he can give you. He converted like 2 or 3 fourth downs. So,
Hmm. That's true.
um, I don't know. Like Lamar's good and all, but like you really haven't had any blow up games from him because he just doesn't have the weapons. Maybe with Bateman, he might do something good.
Mm, I'm excited for
Um,
that. He's gonna play this week, isn't he? Is that the plan?
I hope so.
I would love to see that, just to see what he can add.
Yeah, I still think Jimmy's team is going to score good. I don't think like end of season. I don't think he's going to be like top two like
Okay.
he is now.
Okay. Interesting. So
I say
if
like
you had to
three or
pick top
four
two, who would you pick right now based on just
for end of season or
yeah,
just. Oh,
yeah,
I mean
end of season
that's so
finish?
hard.
Just pure speculation here.
I think Ashley's definitely one of them. I mean, just her team's crazy, and I think
Hmm.
when Kittle becomes healthy, like that's whatnot. Mm, it's I don't know. It's close
Yeah, it is. It's tough to say.
because
Yeah,
injuries will happen. I think it's just too
exactly.
early.
Yeah, it's way too early, definitely, to pick that. Um,
It's hard to ask questions. I
do
couldn't. I'm
do
trying to think of
you do
them.
you think Chris can turn it around? Is it
No,
too late for? Yeah,
I think it's too late.
I think it's too late too, unless he makes some major moves, has some huge waiver wire wins. If he can make a couple trades to bulk up some other positions, maybe. Like again, trade Patrick Mahomes away and then pick up another quarterback off waivers that you can, be serviceable.
He needs to hit a grand slam on the waiver
Yeah.
wires. That's what it needs to. He needs to snipe the players that get injured and grab the whoever was going to replace them,
Yeah. Yep.
especially if they have good and if they're in a good situation.
Yep. All right. Here's my last question for you. Um, how come Kate is not undefeated right now? She should be undefeated right now.
Why do you say that?
Kate's always undefeated.
Oh,
This
you know
early in the
what?
season, she's usually like 4-0, 5-0, 6-0.
I think it's finally like the fantasy gods like striking down, be like, all right, your time's done.
The
You had a
pendulum has
good run.
swung.
You had a good run the first 2 years in this league. We got new players. It's time to like shake it up.
Give someone else a shot.
Yep.
Um, yeah, yeah. I think I was 0. I think I was in Chris's position last year. I think I was 0-4 to start the season. I managed to
And you won,
finish.
right?
No, not last year. No, Ashley won last year. Um, I
Did you make
didn't even.
playoffs?
No, I
No,
didn't even
you
make
didn't
the
make.
playoffs.
No.
I was close. I finished sixth. Um, I think I just missed it by a week or two or something like that. But
Hey, Jimmy finished last, right? Last year? And he's
probably.
second. I think he finished last and he's second
Yeah,
place.
he may have finished last the past 2 years. Jimmy, if you're listening to this, correct us because you would know better. But yeah, he's generally been pretty far down. It's kind of
But
Jimmy's
he
MO.
is smacking us right now.
His Derrick Henry play, man, it looks good. Derrick Henry's cleared far away like the best running back on the season. So,
Yep.
what can you say? But okay, all right. Well, let's wrap it up. We'll be back next week for the week 5 recaps. Just kind of churning through the season already. Um, did you know there's a trading block in Yahoo? Like I know you put Cordero Patterson up, but you know that Yahoo has a trading block. You can only
No,
access it.
I know Sleeper does.
Yes, Sleepers is so much better. Should we
It's
move to Sleeper next year? Like I feel like it's better in
yeah.
some ways because like when you put a player on the trade block in Sleeper,
Anyone can like send you offers and
yeah, like
whatnot.
it's obvious it's there. But the trading block in Yahoo is buried on the website. It's so hard to find. Like
Oh, I'm not. If
unless
it,
you're looking for it,
can you see it on the phone?
I don't even think so.
All right, then I'm not. It's not even worth
Yeah,
doing.
it's not worth it. Like I'm only on the website when we do these videos, so what the hell's the freaking point? Yeah, we'll have to think about that. You know what sucks though? Like the one thing I like about Yahoo is it tracks your history. Like you can go and look at anybody's history, and you can kind of see like all of their past teams, and even in
Hmm.
other leagues, and you can see how they've done, their trophies, their placements. Like that's kind of cool. There's some history there. If you go to
Yeah.
sleeper, you lose all that. So that's the only downside. But anyways, okay, let's wrap this up. Good luck to everybody. We will be back next week.
Not
Peace.